The Chicago Bears season is over now. It's been over for a couple weeks now. And we're going into an off season with a lot of stuff in the air here. We got a lot of turmoil here in terms of the way the season ended and the way the season went compared to what we were hoping slash expecting. And also the fact that we have the first overall pick now. And now the question becomes, Justin Fields, do you roll with him? Maybe trade back, build a roster, or do you take Caleb Williams, restart that quarterback position, and give yourself more time here for a rebuild? And it's definitely an issue that's been tearing the Bears fan base apart for a couple weeks now. I wanted to make this video sooner, but I was just so exhausted on the subject that I was like, a lot of people, this debate kind of reminds me of politics, in the case that everybody is very emotionally grounded in their specific side of the argument, and nobody's actually trying to switch sides here. Nobody really has an open mind. Everybody seems to take it very personally. They think if you support one side, you have to hate the other. They think if you want to keep Justin, you have to hate Caleb, or if you want to draft Caleb, you have to think Justin is a terrible quarterback. And honestly, I don't think either of those are. I don't think Justin's a bad quarterback, and I don't think Caleb Williams is a bust prospect. So honestly, what it really boils down to is Justin Fields. What has he been? What can he become? And honestly, I was extremely, extremely disappointed in Justin Fields this year. I thought he was ready to take that year 3 jump that Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Tua Tagovailoa, all those guys did. And he didn't. He looked mildly better. Instead of a year 3 jump, he took a year 3 baby step. And that's not what we needed. And I think a lot of people last offseason convinced themselves that Fields was a finished product after last year because of all the rushing he did and how exciting he was to watch. But he wasn't. When we passed on Bryce Young and CJ Stroud so we could trade back, get DJ Moore, build around Justin, it was with the understanding that he would get better. Not that he was the guy that was going to lead us forward, but that he was the guy that we can roll with and see what we've gotten him for at least another year. And I think a lot of people took that to mean, oh, Justin is our bona fide franchise quarterback. He's a great quarterback. He's done. He's ready. The rest of the team just sucks. And that's not true. Justin makes a lot of mistakes in 2022 in terms of throwing. And I was under the belief that, okay, well, we got him a better O-line. We gave him coaching continuity. He doesn't have to learn the same system again. We got him DJ Moore. And let's see what he does. And he did not much. Got hurt. Missed a few games. That's been a problem for him. Struggled against the things he's always struggled against. Made a lot of the same mistakes that he's always been making since his rookie year. Those mistakes being holds on to the ball too long, can't read a zone defense or blitz defense. He panics under pressure. And he is way too slow in his reads. I watched that Green Bay game. And then I watched the Bills-Dolphins Sunday Night Football game. And Josh Allen and Tua Tagovailoa did not have that great of games between them. But those two showed me so much more than Justin did. And it showed me, oh man, he's still got a long way to go. Which is fine if it's year 1 or if it's year 2. Or even if it's year 3 and we don't have the first overall pick. But the fact that it's year 3, we have a year left on Justin Fields' contract, right? That means after this year, we got to extend him. We, at the very least, have to think about if we want to pick up his 5th-year option or not, which would be worth 20 something million dollars. That's not nothing. That costs you a big free agent. And to do that would be hoping that Justin in year 4, this is unprecedented, by the way. Nobody takes a jump in year 4 anymore. If you do roll with him again, that means you are banking on him fixing all these problems in a year with the brand new offensive system, with Shane Waldron getting hired. And I do like Shane Waldron. I like what he's done. But to me, learning a brand new system in year 4 while trying to prove if you're a franchise quarterback is not a recipe for success, especially how far he still has to go. Now, Justin isn't a bad quarterback. You could do a lot worse than him. He does a lot of things that no other quarterbacks can do. But to me, we're 3 years in, and he's still showing a lot of the same flaws. And I know a lot of people jump to say, oh, it's the coaches, or it's the O-line, or it's the receivers. To me, the coaching is part of the problem. Luke Getsy he was not good, and I'm glad he got fired. But there are some times where you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And you can give Justin great play calls. And we saw that early in the year. And you can't discount the early season games. I know a lot of people are saying weeks 1, 2, 3, and 5 don't count. But they do. They do count. You're in year 3. Games like that shouldn't be happening. And we saw him, even late in the year, getting jittery footwork in the pocket, panicking, seeing guys that are open and just not throwing it. And people are saying the play calls suck, but sometimes he had good play calls dialed up and Justin just isn't doing it. He just isn't getting it done. And if he's a rookie or if it's year 2, that's fine. But he's been in the NFL way too long to still be doing that. However, if you look at what Justin did later in the year, he diced up the Falcons, diced up the Lions, and he diced up, I can't even think of the other team, but he had some very good games to end the season. Except in Green Bay, where it felt like to me he came crashing back down to earth. Now, the O-line was horrible that game. And Green Bay, as we know now, ended up being a very good team that ended up going on a pretty good playoff run. But that's your division rival. And it's also alarming to me that Justin still struggles against good defenses. Not even amazing teams. His worst games this year were against a stout Kansas City defense. Both games against the Vikings, both of them. He got hurt in one of them, and he only put up 13 points in the other one after the defense got 4 interceptions. And both Green Bay games. He looked awful in all those games. Awful. And 2 of those are division rivals that we're going to be seeing for a while. And if he's still making these mistakes 3 years in, I have no reason to think that he'll suddenly magically fix them all in year 4. To me, we kind of are knowing what he is. Now, he is doing enough that he's not an awful quarterback. He's not Mitch Trubisky. I'm sorry, I know a lot of people are saying Mitch's stats were better, and they were better, but Justin is miles ahead of where Mitch was, at least in my eyes. And you can do a lot worse than Justin. I would take Justin over a decent amount of quarterbacks in this league. Just off the top of my head, I'd take him over Desmond Ridder. I'd take him over Kenny Pickett. I'd take him over uh, Daniel Jones. I'd take him over I don't know about Geno yet, but I'd take him over quite a few quarterbacks. I'd take him over Ryan Tannehill. I'd take him over Will Levis. I'd take him over a lot. Not it's not zero. It's a fair amount, maybe a third of the quarterbacks in the league. But the fact that that's where he is at this point it's just not enough to me. And it's also because the reason after 2019, Mitch looked pretty bad. The reason we kept him for 2020 and brought in Nick Foles as competition is because we didn't have a first-round pick to replace him. And if that Carolina pick ended up being 12th and not first, I'd be like, you know what? Let's just keep Justin, because I don't think any QB we can get there is like, there's no point there. You might as well just stay put, keep the team going, and just hope for the best. But the fact we're afforded this opportunity, basically for free, to pick the best quarterback of the last few years, while we also have a little bit of uncertainty at the quarterback position, to me, especially with where we've been, to me that seems like a very appealing choice, and it should be to Ryan Poles. Caleb Williams is not a perfect prospect, and people are saying, Caleb Williams is going to be Mahomes. Caleb Williams is going to be Dak Prescott. He's going to win Rookie of the Year. He's going to come out and be great. We don't know that. And that's a big risk you have to take. And, he's not going to make the team better year one. But the hope is, and the light at the end of the tunnel, is that he'll become what Justin never could and what no Bears quarterback ever could. And that's a franchise quarterback in the long term. The goal is not to have a good enough team. The goal is to win a Super Bowl. And I don't think Justin is good enough to win us a Super Bowl. Could he get better? Absolutely. And that's why I would have no issue keeping him if we didn't have a top one pick. Because he's shown so many flashes. He can make great plays. Justin can. He can make plays that, I remember against the Falcons, he broke out of 2 people were on him for a sack, and he ran for a 10-yard gain. And I'm like, there is no quarterback in the league that's doing that. But the problem is that he can't do the easy stuff. He can't be a game manager. He can't be Brock Purdy. And I know Brock Purdy isn't the flashiest quarterback, but that's the thing about Justin is he's all flash, and he's no... He doesn't have that game manager type in him. Aaron Rodgers made a whole career out of basically knowing when to take his checkdowns and knowing when to just be a gunslinger. And he was basically a chameleon. Justin Fields he's either throwing 30-yard deep bombs or he's throwing 5-yard passes right into the dirt. And we saw him do that at the end of his, against the Browns, another game he really struggled in. There was a screen pass, and he threw it just right over the guy's head. The guy's 5 yards in front of him. And it's like, how is he still making these mistakes so far into his career? And it's not that I want Brock Purdy as my quarterback. I do not. I would much rather have somebody of Justin's mold. But also, Brock Purdy's getting the job done here in San Francisco. But you just need somebody that can read the defense, get the ball where it needs to go, distribute, and be good. And Justin, he's struggled to do that. Could he someday do that? Sure. But the fact that we are in year 3 and he has as many bad games as he has is extremely alarming and concerning to me. To me, this was supposed to be the year where, and I said it before the year. I don't remember if I said it in a video or not, but I wasn't going to make any more excuses for Fields. Last year, I towed the line of the defense sucks, the O-line sucks, and he has no receivers, especially after Mooney went down. He had nobody. Chase Claypool was the best receiver on the team after that, who got traded for a 7th-round pick. And this year, it was all better. It was all better. And it wasn't, and last year, he was in a new system too, first year in the system. This year, he had better in every single category. Every single one that I just mentioned was better. And he looked very similar. There was not much I saw Justin doing in 2023 that he couldn't do in 2022. And that to me is just not good enough. So, if you're in this spot where the development isn't going where you are and you have a talented prospect staring you right in the face, you should probably think about at least doing that, taking that quarterback. And again, Justin shows so much promise that it's not an easy decision to make. And I know a lot of Bears fans are very, very emotionally attached to Fields. I still kind of am. April 29th, 2021 was an extremely happy day in my life when we traded up and we got Justin. And I was like, we got our guy. And didn't end up panning out that way. Not the way I was anticipating, at least. And again, if we didn't have the first overall pick, I don't think this would be a discussion, honestly. That's the thing. Like, Justin isn't a horrible quarterback that you need to take a quarterback at 9 where we're picking. Because who's going to be left there? Jaden Daniels, J.J. McCarthy? I don't think they're better than Justin. I don't. The thing is that you have an opportunity you're probably never going to get again. You could, if you don't take Caleb Williams this year and you build around Justin and it doesn't work out, then next year the team is so stacked, especially on the defense, that we're going to have at least 6 or 7 wins, even if Justin somehow gets worse, which I don't think he will. I think if we keep him next year, he'll get a little bit better. The problem is, if he's still not good enough that you can pay him the big bucks like he will be demanding after next year, you then have to move heaven and earth to move up and get a prospect. And that prospect you move up for isn't going to be as good as Caleb Williams, because teams that have the number 1 prospect quarterback in the draft don't usually trade out of it. The Bears doing that last year was an extremely, extremely rare scenario of a team trading out of the first overall pick because they don't need a quarterback. That almost never happens. And I guarantee it's not going to happen next year. Whoever's picking first is going to take the quarterback that's there. We're not going to get the best quarterback. The fact we're in a spot right now without having to trade up to take Caleb Williams, the best quarterback prospect in the draft, the best quarterback prospect in the last 4 years. The fact we're in this spot in the first place is extremely fortunate. Now, Caleb Williams, we have to switch gears and look at him now. Caleb Williams is out of USC. Last year, he won the Heisman Trophy, has pretty much been regarded as the number 1 pick in this draft for at least a couple years now. And he is a extremely creative player. Now, you're going to hear a lot of people slandering Caleb Williams, saying he's going to be a bust, saying he's not a leader, saying he's a prima donna. And I think those are extremely overblown. Everything that I would trust what his teammates are saying and what those around the USC team are saying. And they all say that Caleb Williams is a great leader. So I think that is kind of overblown in terms of what people are talking about. Because a lot of people's number 1 problem with Caleb is like they're just, I don't know, it feels like they're just insulting Caleb because they like Justin so much that they just want to make Caleb seem like a worse prospect. No. No, like it blows my mind when people do that. Like Caleb's a great prospect. Like it makes I don't understand why so many people are just hating on him. Like I feel like if we didn't have Justin on the roster, the Bears fans would already be on their knees in front of Caleb about to kiss his feet. Like it's I don't know. But everyone's number one problem with him is never on field stuff. It's always, oh, he's this, he's that as a person. But from what everybody's saying, he's a good guy. So um now Caleb, everybody's throwing around Mahomes for him. He is kind of cut from that same mold. That's the not the player, but the prospect he's very much comparable to. I'd say he's better than Mahomes was in college. But obviously, he's not going to become Patrick Mahomes. I mean, if he does, that would be insane. Patrick Mahomes was just kind of the right circumstances at the right time, the perfect they did that so well to get him. But Caleb, he does a lot of the same stuff. He makes insane sidearm like throws. His release is lightning quick, something Justin doesn't have. He can read defenses, make pinpoint accurate throws on the run, sit in the pocket. Like he can do whatever you want him to quarterback. Where it's you need him to be a gunslinger, he'll do that. You need him to be Brock Purdy, he can do that. You need him to be running, he can do that. You need him to be kind of take a step back to the run game, he can do that. You need him to start throwing right down the middle, he can do that. Like he can do literally anything. Now, his flaws, I think, are extremely fixable. He's got a little bit case of hero ball, which probably won't work at the NFL level. I think he's going to have quite a few bad games that we're going to have to sit through if we draft him. He's got a little bit of he's got a little bit of an issue like trusting his protection sometimes, but for the most part, it's pretty good. He's not he can throw with anticipation, and that's something Justin still struggles with. Is Justin has to sit in the pocket and he has to see the guy be open for at least 3 seconds, and the guy has to be like way in front of his guy before he throws the ball. And Caleb doesn't struggle with that. Now, that's the thing about Justin is when that guy is open, he'll hit him 100% of the time. You know, like we saw yesterday, Josh Allen made some pretty bad underthrows in the AFC Championship game. You know, Justin wouldn't do that. He hits that 100 times out of 100, but you want to see him throw a little bit more, just have that quick release, you know. And again, I'm not comfortable continuing with a guy that has this many flaws. No matter how much I love Justin the person. Like the locker room loves Justin Fields. The fans love Justin Fields. And as an owner of the Bears, I can see the McCaskies wanting to keep Justin just because of how many fans love him. He's top 10 in merch sales. He's loved by the locker room. But that doesn't win Super Bowls. And that's what I want. You know, I want the Bears to win a Super Bowl. I want them to be a great team. And I just don't know if Justin's actually the guy that can get us there right now. And because what he is right now is what we need to evaluate. What I'm saying here is extremely controversial, believe it or not. A lot of people are swearing up and down that Caleb's going to be a bust, that Justin is the guy to build around. We want Fields, keep that, etc. But in my opinion, I think the obvious move is to move on from Justin and take Caleb Williams. Not only that, Justin has a year left on his contract. Caleb has 4 or 5. And that, to me, is extremely valuable, especially since we got to build this team still. The cap flexibility you're afforded by having that rookie deal is very good. If you look at the Super Bowl teams of the last, however long, at least like 6, 7 years, a lot of them had quarterbacks on a rookie deal. I can just off the top of my head. We had Jalen Hurts last year. We had Joe Burrow the year before. We had Jared Goff when they went to the Super Bowl. The Rams did. We had Russell Wilson when he went to the Super Bowl with the Seahawks both years. Cam Newton when he went with the Panthers. That was the last year of his rookie deal, I'm pretty sure. The Eagles went to the Super Bowl with Carson Wentz's rookie deal, which ended up sliding in Nick Foles, but Carson Wentz was an MVP candidate before he went down with that injury. Patrick Mahomes won a Super Bowl on his rookie deal. Like, it's like I feel like I'm taking crazy pills here. Like the move seems so obvious to me the more I talk about it. But so many fans are divided on this, and I think it's just because they love Justin Fields, the person, so much, and because he's the best quarterback we've had in a long, long time. You can do a lot worse than Justin. And I think that's what people are afraid of, is that we've got this quarterback that's exciting, and we've never had an exciting quarterback before. Nobody wants to get rid of him. The problem for me with Justin is, like, I just want to see him do more, you know? I keep hearing it's the coaching, it's the O-line, it's the receivers. But you see CJ Stroud winning a playoff game with no-name wide receivers and a first-time play caller. You see Jordan Love going on a great postseason run with no-name wide receivers. Those guys, like, who even are they? A lot of them are rookies and second-year players. You see Josh Allen didn't have a great O-line his first few years, and he was great. You see Patrick Mahomes, it was the same thing with him. And you go, look at those guys, despite the bad things around them, they're still succeeding. Look at Josh Allen making it to the, divisional round, even though his offensive coordinator got fired halfway through the season. Like, I want to say, wow, look at us, look at Justin Fields succeeding despite the shortcomings around him. I want a quarterback that, even though things around him are bad, he's still putting up great numbers. I don't want a quarterback that needs everything around him to be perfect and then he'll succeed. And to me, that's what Justin Fields is. It reminds me a lot of Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts was a great quarterback in 2022 when he had the best O-line in the league, some of the best receivers in the league, and a great play caller in Shane Steichen, and a great run game. You take a decent amount of that away this year. The play calling wasn't great. The team started to get hurt. And Jalen Hurts wasn't really that good. He couldn't put the team on his back and lead them. Patrick Mahomes this year had bum wide receivers, horrible wide receivers, and he's in the AFC Championship game. That's the kind of quarterback I want, the guy that's going to put the team on his back and say, you know what, who cares about what's happening right here? I don't care about the reasons for my failure, and I'm going to succeed anyway. That's what I want, and to me, Caleb Williams is that kind of guy. He was still playing some amazing football, despite I haven't even heard of a single wide receiver that he has. None, like, obviously Jordan Addison, but that was a year ago. This past year, he still put up great numbers with guys that probably aren't getting drafted before day 3. And to me, that's important because Justin Fields got drafted out of Ohio State, where he was throwing to Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Jackson Smith-Njigba, and he had a great offensive line and a great play caller in Ryan Day. Caleb Williams has not great wide receivers, a solid O-line. He has a great play caller in Lincoln Riley. I will say that. But he doesn't have nearly as much there that Justin did. And you'll see people say, we need to build around Justin. We need to give him Marvin Harrison Jr. We need to give him an even better offensive line, and we need to give him a great play caller, and then he'll succeed. But who wouldn't succeed in that situation? What quarterback wouldn't succeed like that? Of course he'll succeed if you do that. I want a guy that's doesn't need all that, because that's not sustainable. We're not going to have you're going to have injuries. You're going to have guys get fired. You're going to have guys leave. You're going to have guys get traded. You're going to have issues throughout the season. That roster is not going to be like that the whole time. So to say that we should do that and then Justin will succeed, I don't think that's a great idea, because that's not sustainable long term. And that's what Ryan Poles came in and he said, we're going to build sustained success. We're going to build through the draft, and we're going to become a team that's a playoff contender, take the North, never give it back for a very long time, and we're all going to love being Bears fans for once. And building that way around Justin, where we build a super team around him, and then he, gets the job done, and, obviously he'll look pretty good doing that. That doesn't make us have a great quarterback. I want a talent that will transcend the Bears' incompetence, basically. But, what do I know? Could Caleb Williams be that guy? Again, I don't even know. That's the risk you take with quarterbacks. But to me, you have to keep throwing darts at the board until you get a bullseye. Because you can't be a successful team sustainably without a bona fide top 10 franchise quarterback. You need that. Otherwise, it's not going to work out. Because if you just build around Justin, yeah, he'll look good. He might even look great. But as soon as things start to wear down, he's not going to be the guy that's going to carry you through that. Again, Jalen Hurts. He looked amazing last year. MVP runner-up. He looked awesome. And then a lot of things kind of fell apart, and he couldn't put the team on his back and carry them. And instead of getting a quarterback that you're always in the playoffs and you're always getting chances, you basically get the Eagles all-in push that now they're going to have to recover from. And they're not going to be in a great spot after that. And I don't think the Eagles are going to be back for a while. And that's not what I want. That's not what I want. I want somebody that 12 years from now, he's still going to be here. And we're going to be winning the North a lot, and he's going to be awesome, And until you get that, you have to keep trying that. So, to me, I feel like Ryan Poles is going to do that. Obviously, this is all just my opinion. Obviously, not everybody's going to agree with me. This is very controversial. And don't think I hate Justin. Because I don't. You can look behind me. There's 3 photos of Justin Fields behind me. 4. There's 4 photos of Justin Fields behind me. I'm pretty sure. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. It's 4 photos. I own 3 Justin Fields jerseys. I was all in on this guy. I bought one of those jerseys in August. That's how certain I was that he was going to be awesome this year. And the fact that he wasn't, I'm a Bears fan more than I'm a Justin Fields fan. And I just think that trading Justin, getting Caleb Williams, and giving it another go, I think that's the best move. And it's not the easiest move. But we didn't hire Poles to make the easy moves. We hired him to... This is the guy that traded Khalil Mack. This is the guy that cut Tariq Cohen with a broken leg. This is the guy that traded Chase Claypool after not even a full season because he knew it wasn't working. I think Ryan Poles knows how to take the emotion out of it, take the fan opinions out of it, and do what he thinks is best for the team. And I just think that Caleb Williams will be a Bear. It's not that, that even independent of that being what I want, I just think that's what's going to happen. And I see a lot of people in denial about it. Yeah, I don't know. Because again, Justin had some awesome games this year, and people see that and they say, man, Justin can be something, and he can be something. But him beating up on non-playoff teams doesn't convince me of anything. He only has one win against playoff teams this year, and it was the Lions, and that was an awesome game. But it felt to me like the defense has been more the story than the offense in these games. Is that just me? I feel like we never get in shootouts with guys, where the only one I can think of is the Steelers game from 2021, where Justin's just no fear going out there and slinging it. And I've been saying it since week 1 of this season that Justin just plays with too much fear, and I don't know if you ever get that confidence back. Sam Darnold never did. I'm not saying Justin Fields is Sam Darnold. Mitch never did. But once you lose your confidence, it's very, very hard to get it back. And it's just tough because I just don't see him doing more. Again, he only has one 300-yard passing game in his whole career. Bryce Young, on a horrible Panthers team, threw for over 300 yards against the Packers. On a Panthers team with an awful offensive line, a subpar defense, his best wide receiver was Adam Thielen, and his head coach got fired. He diced up the Packers defense, but Justin couldn't. And you can blame Luke Getsy. I know a lot of people are. But it's not all his fault. Justin has a part to play too here. And and again, I'm not saying Justin's a horrible quarterback or that you can't ever win with him. You can win. I bet you could be a playoff team with him. But you're not going to win a Super Bowl with him. You're not going to beat the NFL's elite with him. And if you do, it's probably going to be because of the defense. And so that's what I think. And this isn't the easiest to put out there because everybody seems to be united in supporting Justin, at least in the online community. But it's not an easy subject, on the surface, Justin isn't doing enough to be replaced. He's not a bad quarterback, but he's not a great one. And we need a great quarterback. And to me, Justin's just taking too long. Again, if we didn't have a first overall pick, I'd probably be okay with keeping Justin and seeing where he could go. But to me, honestly, the safer move, I think I like Caleb Williams' chances coming into this team with Shane Waldron as an OC, a pretty good offensive line, a pretty great wide receiver in DJ Moore, a top 10 wide receiver at least, and a top 5 tight end in Cole Kmet. And that run game, I don't think a first overall quarterback has been put in a better position ever. I don't know how you fail doing that. I think this is the best situation a rookie quarterback could be put in because the pressure's not all on him. And I think that's part of the reason why Justin lost his confidence is because in 2022, any mistake he made, the defense wasn't going to help him. The rest of the team wasn't going to help him. So any mistake he made was automatically going to cost them. It felt like the game was all on his shoulders. So he became a little scared. Caleb Williams not going to have that if he comes in here. I like Caleb Williams' chances going into that situation more than I like the chances of Justin magically fixing everything in year 4. Again, not saying it can't happen. I'm not saying Caleb Williams is definitely going to be good. Not saying Justin Fields can't become a great quarterback. But to me, that's it genuinely it sounds crazy to say, but I feel like Caleb Williams is the safer move. It's just going to be tough to do, and I don't envy the spot Ryan Poles is in, but that's all I really have to say on this. This has been circulating in my head for months, but that's where we're at right now. And I wanted to make a video dedicated to hiring Shane Waldron. I might still do that, but better OC than Luke Getsy. I'll just say that. So yeah, I'll see you guys soon. Probably have some free agency coverage. Whatever news happens, I'll definitely cover that. But yeah, I'll see you guys later.